Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at Samurai Deeper Kyo for the PlayStation. Published by Bandai and released on December 12th, 2002, it's based on the series of manga and anime of the same name. In fact, the intro movie is the intro from the television series. You're saying to yourself that a game based on an anime that aired in 2002 being released on the PS1 as opposed to the PS2 sounds like something of a cheap cash grab. I'll just say that when the game was released, it was bundled with the Samurai Deeper Kyo collectible card game. Samurai Deeper Kyo is set in Japan during the Tokugawa era and mainly follows a character named Mibu Kyoshiro, a mild-mannered medicine peddler who shares his body with a feared, merciless samurai named Demon Eyes Kyo in something of a Jekyll and Hyde dynamic. Apparently, Kyo just wants to regain his own body, and to that end, he, along with a number of other characters, are drawn into conflicts with the Tokugawa shogunate, as well as the Mibu tribe, who are apparently a shadow society of violent, superhuman types who secretly run Japan from behind the scenes. I can recall reading a couple of volumes of the manga about 10 years ago, and it was okay. But this isn't exactly a story-driven game, so it doesn't really matter. This is a great setting for a fighting game, though. This is just about the simplest fighting game I've ever played. You really only have one basic attack button, which is the circle button by default. The attack performed changes depending on your distance from your opponent, but it's your weakest attack, and it's the only attack you can chain into combos. Combos performed by repeatedly pressing one button. All of the other face buttons perform more powerful special moves. That's right, no quarter circles, no charge back, forward, etc. Just press a button and see what happens. I guess this might be nice for people who either don't play fighting games much, or just aren't very good at them, but I definitely prefer something a little deeper. I mean, they couldn't be bothered to at least program a basic 2D fighter. They had to simplify things this much. You can perform some pretty cool looking super moves, executed by actually pressing more than one button, and by that I mean two buttons. Most of them can be blocked pretty easily, but when they do land, they do a ton of damage. The roster is comprised of 9 characters, and you can also choose a support character, both from the roster itself as well as from a number of other characters who can only be used in this capacity. You don't actually call on them for help as one might expect, you just have a meter under your health bar that fills up over time, and when it's full, your support character launches an attack automatically. The major drawback there is that you have no control over them. You can't choose when to have them attack, and that can mean that they're totally wasted and you just have to wait for the meter to fill back up and hope for the best next time. Overall, while the action on screen might look pretty fast and furious, the actual experience of playing this game is very lacking. It's definitely not the worst 2D fighter I've ever played by any means. That title still goes to Shadow: War of Succession for the 3DO. But I think it would be far too simple to hold the attention of the average fighter fan for very long. The graphics in Samurai Deeper Kyo are okay. It's just simple sprite work, but the character designs are pretty cool and the stages look nice too. Like I said, this is a good setting for fighting games, and the look of this one at least reminds me of better games like Samurai Spirits and Last Blade. And like I said, the action is at least fast and kind of eye-catching. The sound design is also pretty nice. The soundtrack is basically a mix of orchestral sounds with traditional Japanese wood and string instruments, and it sounds pretty cool. For as simple as the game plays, the presentation is at least decent. So if you're just a huge fan of Samurai Deeper Kyo, or you want to play an extremely simplified fighting game, you might like this one. It usually goes for between $15 and $20 online, so at least it won't cost you too much. For everybody else though, you'd probably get about 30 minutes of decent fun out of this one before you start wanting to play a fighting game with a little more meat on its bones. I'd recommend that general audiences pass on this one and play some Last Blade instead. Actually, just play Last Blade anyways. The game's awesome.